Welcome to a special virtual meeting of the Board of Supervisors of Elections. It is Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, and I call this meeting to order at 5:02 p.m. So roll call, Liam Mercer,
Here.
Debbie Yatzik.
Yeah,
Okay, and myself, Eileen Leahy, and we're also joined by city staff, Regina Watkins Eldridge, Ashley Leonard, and Teresa Buccalow. All right, great. All right, any comments from the public, Regina?
no comments.
No comments, okay. I never know if that's actually good or bad. So, all right, approval of the minutes. Let's start with the approval for the October 9th minutes, and I know that there had been we didn't get a chance to review them at the last meeting. So, it looks like there was a question at some point. Liam and Debbie, did you have any comments?
No.
It looked like there was a stray bullet for Paplianti that was at the end. He was noted above and then it was bulleted. Like it just looks like it's a stray.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't sure if it was a stray or that it was for two different reports.
I'm not seeing it necessarily.
You
I
know,
have,
we were trying to decide what to do with the checks and the dates and what to amend and what to do. So we took no action.
okay. I did have a comment on at the bottom of page 2 of 3. Make
Okay.
sure I'm looking at the right ones. Um, so for Payon, it was number CFR1 reporting period. And then it said CFR, it should be amended number 1, because we did amend it. And then the CFR for number 2 reporting period, we didn't approve that one. That was the one where we needed to clarify.
Yeah, that's the last sentence says
Right.
member that's like
So I have moved, I guess I would say move to send it, and then in parentheses, the campaign fund report from the second reporting period. I just wanted to clarify that, back for clarification about whether it's an initial or a final report. I don't have my originals there, so I'm not quite sure how it's changed. Just, I don't
I'm,
know. When I
I'm
looked at it,
seeing
just
what
didn't
you're
seem clear.
looking, what you're recommend,
I'm
what you're
sorry.
asking for, what you're asking for, I'm seeing it says member Yatsik move to send the second campaign fund report from the second reporting period back for clarification about whether it's an initial or final report. Second and carried on voice vote.
Okay, then I'm looking at a copy that I thought, I'm sorry, I don't have so that is the original. That's fine then.
This is from Teresa sent this on the 22nd with the meeting, the 10/16 minutes.
Right, well, this one had been sent to us on the evening of the 16th, but we hadn't looked at it yet, so we deferred it.
Right.
Okay, well, if we don't have any changes to make, can I have a motion to accept?
But we do have the stray bullet on the third page to remove. Teresa, do you see what I'm saying?
I don't see it. I see Papalianti, no action, then I see Chandelmeyer, and then I see a motion, and then I see Papalianti, no action.
That's what he's referring to.
Oh, the no action.
Yeah, the second Paplianti, because it's above. It says it above.
Gotcha. Okay. But I thought we didn't take an action saying that we were going to go back and have him explain the situation. I guess if there was no action.
Um,
It doesn't say what report, you
Okay.
know.
All right, well, I mean, if you all are fine, what do you want to do as far as just take that second Papalianti out?
Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I thought what we had said was, I thought somebody, one of us, and I didn't think it was me, but I thought somebody was gonna reach out to Paplianti and get, I
Right.
don't, well, no, I guess there was a question of whether we were gonna ask for this, like, specific checks and,
Right. I had reached out to them, but we weren't sure, and they were willing to make the amendments. We just weren't sure what report to amend.
Okay, well, for the sake of minutes, did we take an action? If we didn't take an action, then we can just move forward with
No,
it.
we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so just, are you saying you all want to strike that second one?
yes.
Okay.
All right, so I'll move to accept the minutes, striking the second Paplianti no action.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so moved. Okay. All right, let's move then on to the minutes for the 16th.
I don't have any comments.
Liam, do you have any?
I thought I did, but I don't, I don't remember what they were and I didn't write them down. I guess, uh, well, did we, maybe we never moved to request amended reports for the ones that were not accepted for the third campaign fund report? Do we need to do that? Did we need to do that? Maybe we didn't, so maybe we should just accept the minutes as they are.
Let me look at my notes. I seem to think that we would have done that.
I don't think you voted on it. You just kept the notes so you could put them in your analysis.
Okay,
Okay, so
all right, so we'll motion to accept them as written.
I
motion,
move that we accept the minutes of October 16th.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, oh, so moved. Okay, great. I know minutes have been difficult to keep up with lately.
Yeah, thanks, Teresa.
Okay. All right, moving on to update from Regina Watkins Eldridge.
The only thing I want to let you know is that we've had a lot of people calling because they want applications for regular mail-in ballots, and we have been mailing them to them if they request it. We've had the county come down several times. They've been collecting the ballots, and it looks like there's no issues with the post office at this time.
Okay,
We have we had the county here yesterday, and they did the measurements for the no electioneering zones, and they're going to be creating new maps that they're going to put into the binders with the chief judges for the polling precincts, so that if candidates ask, they can show them where the no electioneering signs are. And I think, Eileen, you could probably fill them in on some of the questions you got regarding transportation to the polls.
okay. So I'm sorry, let me clarify. So you're getting a lot of requests for voter registration or for mail-in ballot registration?
For the regular mail-in ballot
Oh,
applications.
okay, for the application. Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
And we mail them out the next day or have the person come into the office and fill it out. And
Okay,
we did have a couple of people who were leaving town, and we have their ballots secure here, and they're supposed to come in the next 2 days to pick them up.
okay,
We have a great system. Let me tell you about our system for ballots. If a couple requests regular mail-in ballots, and only one person comes to pick them up, I think I may have told you, we have to have a letter from the other person, and then it has to be signed, and then we'll make a copy of the envelopes that the ballots are in, we copy those and we take a copy of the ID from the person who's picking them up and we put it all in a ballot and send it back to the county as a packet so they can add it to the Canvas information.
Okay, great.
And that is the end of my update.
Okay. So Regina was referring to a candidate asked if they could hire a shuttle service to take voters to the polling location. And I did discuss it with Ashley Leonard, and basically code says that you can offer things to voters, you just can't do it with the anticipation or the expectation they're going to vote for you. So it can't be a quid pro quo. Is that the correct term? And then I did also suggest that if there was going to be any political advertising on this shuttle, that it should abide by the 100-foot radius for electioneering. So I think that was about it. Regina, did that information get back to the candidate?
Yes, and she said thank you very much.
Okay. Is
What about if a candidate is offering a meal or offering a ride and then gives them a suggested ballot, a suggested slate to vote for?
They can't do that.
I think that's a pretty hard no.
That can't happen.
Yeah.
Has
That's
that
kind of
been
giving something
done?
with the expectation. Would you agree, Ashley?
Correct. Yes. I mean, we all want to make sure that voters can get to the polls if they need to, and happy to have candidates help with that. But it has to be sort of a generic, like we're just trying to get people to the polls effort, is where it needs to sort of stay.
Right.
So they can't wear any insignia, like the driver or the vehicle?
No, they can. I mean, I don't think we can, as long as they put their campaign, the correct line on it. And the person cannot get the shuttle if they don't want to. But I don't think we can tell them what to put on the shuttle or not, because obviously they're, it's their shuttle. They have to make sure that they can't ask who they're voting for. They can't tell them who to vote for. They can't do a slate. It can just be we're offering this free service to try and increase voter attendance at the polls. That's sort of where it needs to stay.
But you could wear a shirt of like the driver can wear a shirt of a candidate.
Yeah,
Right. But again, you're talking about keeping to that 100-foot radius.
Yeah,
Political advertising.
Yeah, so if they have all that stuff in, then they're gonna have to drop. They need to drop people off outside the radius. They can't be coming in. We had similar things going on to some extent in the primary, so it's not.
Yeah, I thought it already has been done.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any other questions?
I do have a question that was brought to me from a candidate. This is in reference to political signs that are illegally placed. Specifically, the question was about things placed in a county right of way on a county road. Are we responsible for enforcement? Is the county responsible for enforcement if they're placed illegally on a county road right of way?
You want to answer it, Regina, or you want me to answer it?
You can answer it. We did have a call today regarding some signs on the Forest Drive. The candidate had permission to be there. The question was regarding the authority lines, and the candidate is taking care of the authority line issue.
The question that was posed to me was not, it was related to signs being placed on county property.
Right. There's pretty much every cycle, there's complaints about signage. Actually, I think this year's been a little bit quieter. There's really not a whole lot we can do in terms of enforcement other than remind people. And my experience is generally people say, oh, well, I have permission. Well, we know they don't have permission from the county, but it's not in our purview to go remove them.
Yeah.
County could remove them.
Okay, so then it would be the county's responsibility to remove them.
Right. I
Understood.
think there's only been one instance I can think of that we've removed signs, and that was when a former candidate had posted signs before the certificate of candidacy was approved. I think that's the only time we've removed them. But it's a perennial thing. It's usually along Forest Drive and also another one like along Tyler and Bay Ridge. There's usually
Mhm.
but there's construction at that site now, so I haven't seen as many.
But the planning and zoning office, they have been driving around to they can remove signs that are in the public right of ways.
Right.
They
if it's
can remove
blocked.
those. If they're in the corporate limits of the city, they will take care of those. So when we get a complaint, we do send the email to the planning and zoning department for them to send an inspector out to check on the issue.
Those are city right of ways.
Yes.
So if it's not a city right of way, it's a county right of way, then the county has to handle
Right. And typically, in a previous election, we had, I don't live in the city, and there were signs in Edgewater for
Mhm.
candidates for the city of Annapolis election, right, Eileen?
Mhm.
One mayoral candidate had signs in Edgewater and in Glen Burnie and in Severna Park, and
Right.
there's nothing that we can
We've
do
had
about
complaints
that.
about the sign, not this year that I know of, the size of signs, and so they have to follow what city code is, but they're considered temporary, so there's
Yeah.
really not a whole lot to do. Again, they're obstructing the right of way, or if they're interfering with traffic or have any safety concerns, then they can be removed.
Yes,
But again, if they're on private property,
there's nothing we can do about it.
there's
Yeah.
nothing to be done. So,
No, I understand. I think the question's been answered. So hopefully if that is watching, then they got their answer.
Okay.
all right. Okay, next order of business is the proposed ordinance O 3525, ranked choice voting. I think I let you all know, I heard earlier today that I've heard both from Alderman Savage and from Alderman Huntley that they have decided to table this proposal and wish to revisit it with the new administration and perhaps, and definitely they both voiced that they would like to work with the Board of Supervisors of Elections in the drafting of the legislation to make it perhaps, cohesive with existing election law and also in terms of working with trying to preserve as much of the relationship that we have with the county and also with the state in terms of administration of the elections. My understanding is it doesn't get tabled until the actual meeting since it's already on the agenda. Is that correct, Regina?
Oh, you're muted.
They're actually going to withdraw it indefinitely. That's what happens at term end if it
Okay.
hasn't been voted through, because the code requires that there's 3 readings of a legislation in the election cycle. So after this meeting, at the meeting, they're going to vote to withdraw it indefinitely.
Okay,
And then they can revisit it once with the new council.
okay. I was expecting David to perhaps be here tonight. Maybe he,
Maybe he thought the meeting was at 7.
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah, because your meetings are always at 7. I was trying to text him, but he
okay.
didn't respond.
All right. So how would you all like to proceed, Liam and Debbie? Would you like to move forward and do some discussion with it, give some feedback? I know that you all have put in some time in terms of reviewing it.
So can I just say something before you do that?
Sure. Mhm.
Basically, since the city council agenda was posted on Wednesday, if you guys have any comments to O 35, they won't be attached to the legislation. So they will not be in our system. The document, anything you create today will be placed on the desk of the alderman at the meeting. And typically with the way that the meetings run, they don't have any time to read anything that's placed on their desk. Just FYI.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to put that out there before you go forward.
I would propose that we have some discussion right now, and I don't think that we'll have a formal comment to be submitted based on the what's the direction of what's happening with the legislation. But I think having some discussion, because we don't get to have discussions unless we're all together like this. So maybe a little discussion. I'd like to kind of walk through the document that Eileen put together of her comments, if that's okay with everybody. And Eileen, maybe you can kind of talk through that a little bit. That's what I would propose to be doing. And then our discussion here is on YouTube for reference for anybody to watch if they need to.
Yeah. And my take would be to wait, just because it's we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and I'd rather wait and see what comes before us. That being said, Eileen, you did a nice write-up, and maybe while it's fresh in your mind, I don't know if you want to quickly go over that, or if you want to have a longer discussion like Liam might want.
Well, I can go through in terms of how I tried to approach it. If that would be helpful. I mean, and these are comments that I had shared. Alderman Savage had asked to meet with me to get my thoughts on the legislation. And again, I made it very clear that these were my personal views in terms of going through the legislation. And what I tried to do is really just look at the legislation and not really, really wasn't for or against the, ranked choice voting. But if you're going to put forth something particularly of this nature that would change a lot of election law, make sure that the legislation was consistent with the processes that we use for elections and for canvassing. And also to sometimes make it maybe a little, I found it somewhat cumbersome and, had some redundancy in it that maybe because I'm more familiar with the code, I knew that it was elsewhere. So some of it was really just wordsmithing to some degree. And I did also refer to, and I think I sent you the information of how Tacoma Park handles theirs. And I think you can see that their type of legislation is a little bit more straightforward and clear. But I did bring up one thing, which was unfortunately the Rules Committee had not reviewed this proposal, and according to City Code 2.16.190, it does say the rules and city government shall review and consider all proposed amendments to the charter and all proposed amendments to Title IV, which is elections. And then I did also just want to point out that we did not have an opportunity, to work with the drafting group to give some input, and I think that will change moving forward, and I think would be helpful. The next thing I brought up, and I did have something from David stating, and I can actually read that to you all in terms of how the county would approach working with the city in terms of ranked choice voting. And I put it here, at a minimum, outside vendors would be needed for ballot design, tabulation software implementation, election judge training, and voter education. And then that's if they agreed to, even to do it with us. If it wasn't agreed upon, it would mean that the election would have to be run entirely by the city of Annapolis. Let me look up David's comment when I asked him to come talk today.
I did see that.
Did I send it to you all?
Yeah, you sent it out.
Okay, all right. So, I think that also again expressed some hesitation on the part of the county in terms of working with Annapolis if RCV was passed. I did talk a little bit about the fiscal impact, mostly increased vendor expense. Some of that information actually came from Alderman Huntley when I requested some information. And I hadn't thought about voter education, but that is a pretty, particularly in the beginning, a sizable thing to do with educating voters on how to do it. So that was an expense I hadn't really thought about. Let's see. And then brought up in terms of comments on legislation draft, there's two areas that appear to require a change to the city charter, but there was no process for implementing those changes. And when I did talk to Alderman Savage, that was something that he took note of. And I think I put in here how the process of selecting those members would need to be changed. And we've talked about making a change to that already. And it also talks about, there's
Can I,
another
can I,
thing.
can I
Sure.
jump in for 1 second?
Yeah.
I just spoke to David. He did think our meeting was at 7. He'll be on in 2 minutes.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
That's the first bullet, Eileen, that you have. Do you mind if I ask questions as we
No,
go?
absolutely. Yeah. No, stop
But-
me because otherwise I keep rambling.
What was I think I missed when I was reviewing it, the process of selecting the Board of Supervisors of election members and where that change would come into play.
I believe the way it was written said that it just talked about the city council. Those members would be selected as approved by the city council. And actually, it's a little bit different proposal in that the central committee gives four names to the mayor, and then the mayor makes a list, and then they're approved by the city council. So it basically, one could say it didn't even need to be there necessarily, but if it would, the way it was written, it was different and would need a change. Regina?
Well, the central committees are asked to submit 4 names each. If they both submit 4 names, then the mayor selects from that list. If one of the committees sends 3 names, then the mayor can submit his list.
Right.
I think I saw that. This is jogging my memory. I think I saw that and tucked that away as amend this out of this
Right.
should be taken out of the legislation. Okay, it's not really. It wasn't something that was really related to the RCV itself. It was something that.
Right. And there were quite a few things in this legislation that didn't directly relate to RCV that were included. And I think that that complicated it a bit. You know, some of the comments about canvassing, recount, you know, they're found in other parts of the code. The other part, which was proposed as a change to this Article 2, that had to do with saying that ranked choice voting, if I'm thinking of the correct section, in terms of how the election is held, the charter currently reads that elections will be done by direct vote. And from my research, ranked choice voting is a method of direct vote. So I'm not even sure that that needed to be in there, or certain, you know, if it was in there, it would trigger a charter change. If it wasn't in there, it wouldn't be a problem, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other questions so far?
Nope.
Eileen, David is here now.
Okay. Welcome, David. David, I'm just going through a little bit in terms of the analysis I did on this legislation, but I did want to back up. I don't know if you'd heard that Alderman Savage notified me today, along with Alderman Huntley, that they're going to be withdrawing the legislation from the city council. So, but they do plan to bring it up with the new administration. So it's something that will potentially still be moving forward. If it's all right with Liam and Debbie, I think we'll just take a pause from what we've been doing and maybe just give David an opportunity to tell
Sure.
us a little bit about RCV from his perspective, and we can go back to that.
Sure.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry I was late. We have so the new voting system in Anne Arundel County in the state of Maryland will be implementing a new voting system for the 2028 election. As part of the requirements of that procurement, that voting system will be able to accommodate ranked choice voting. So there won't be any technical issues, technology issues with executing it. However, the state law currently doesn't have um, ranked choice, so that represents a pretty big hurdle because that means there's no procedures or guidelines. Um, I spoke to my board about this. I shared the legislation that we received earlier this year with them during one of our board meetings, and their take, as well as mine, I agree with them, is it's beyond the scope of our agency to implement ranked choice voting without without the without the state legislature or the state board of elections giving us guidelines or policies and procedures on how to implement it. So it's not something an individual jurisdiction would do. It would be something implemented by the state. So, absent a change in the state election law, it's not something that we would support. Um, if you did pass it in Annapolis, there's a pretty strong possibility our office wouldn't be able to do the 2029 election then, if you weren't following the state's guidelines. So that's kind of the where we're at. If the state mandates us to implement it, then we will. But without the state passing laws and changing their methodology, it's not something we're going to do. Uh,
Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. I think David, you talked about the guidelines and procedures that the state obviously doesn't have. There's, I think, ways that the Annapolis elections differ from the state elections. And if those guidelines and procedures were written by the city rather than the state and were, I guess, I'm trying to see or understand if there's an opportunity to have. I totally understand that it's not in the purview to create those guidelines and procedures, um, because that doesn't serve your primary purpose, which is executing state elections and county elections. Um, do you have concerns about executing on procedures and guidelines from the city?
Yeah, I mean, the state would probably bring in a person to specifically work on this project. So at the county level, we don't have the resources to dedicate people to writing, policies and procedures from scratch. And also, I mean, long term, I think the goal of the county board of elections, what we'd like to see is the city to come on to the state's election cycle. I think that would actually serve your voters much more than trying to forge your own path ahead. Because right now, the city voters for the city elections don't have things like early voting, and they don't have the level of ballot tracking that you get with the state elections. Um, so I really think that the goal, the city's goal and the county's goal should be to merge the two elections and move the city elections onto, like the presidential ballot or something like that. Um, Even if you did have drop off of people not voting your down ballot races, I just got to think with the higher turnout you get with the statewide elections, that drop off would still be, you know, you would still have higher participation. You'd have higher turnout by being part of the on the ballot for the statewide elections. And it would be it'd be a good fiscal move which especially as we move into this more rocky fiscal picture that we seem to be heading towards, it would just make more sense. So I don't think I think it would make more sense to try and align as closely as possible to the state rather than trying to differentiate from the state.
I think
Well,
there are strong opinions on the city council, both for and against that alignment. And so I guess
Well, I mean,
this is kind of I don't know. I hear that there is a connection between the two, but they also, I don't know, we kind of have to address them as I would say, and I'm speaking to Eileen and Debbie, I think we have to address what's in front of us. And if that potential comes in front of us, then I don't know. I think we're jumping ahead of where we actually are if we're thinking about aligning with the state, either midterm or.
right. Well, it's not necessarily part of the discussion tonight, but has been something that has been ongoing for at least the past 12 years where there has been discussion, and it's certainly been brought up both in the charter revision commissions um, and also with the task force on elections. So it is something that
Right.
has been raised, and we will be getting a new city council. So should that come up, well, the board can certainly address it. I did have a question, David. You mentioned that um, the 2028 new software will be able to accommodate ranked choice voting. But but the machine, so the machines will be able to scan it, but they won't be able to do the tabulation, or they will be able to do the tabulation.
I don't know the answer to that question. I know that she machines would have the capability of doing it, so the software would be available for purchase. But if the state legislature doesn't go down that route,
Mhm.
then the state board won't do it.
Okay,
They won't enact it, so
because
it'd be a
I've
moot point.
consistently heard Jared DeMoranis saying that there was not the ability to do ballot design and also to do tabulation, and that there would need to be separate software procured by the city to do the tabulation. So I didn't know if this changed that.
I don't think so.
Mhm. Okay,
I
No,
think that
I don't think it does either, Eileen.
Right.
It's a it, it's a separate software, but it's also a free software. But
okay,
um, yeah, I think the machines are able to take the results and pick them up, but they don't do the actual elimination of a candidate and ranking through the process.
right,
That
okay,
makes sense.
all right. Debbie, do you have any questions or comments?
No, not with where we are now.
Okay. Anything, Ashley, Teresa, or Regina? Any questions for David on about RCV?
I have no questions.
No, none for me.
Okay. So we do know that other jurisdictions do use it, such as Tacoma Park. I think they're the only ones right now, but it's being considered in Greenbelt and maybe Frederick and Rockville. I'm not positive. Do you have any knowledge of how that has gone, David, or no?
no, I can't speak to that. I do know, and I don't think the Montgomery County Board of Elections runs the Tacoma Park election, but I
No,
don't know. I don't know any specific information, no.
right. Okay. Well, that would be one of the things moving forward that was actually something I had said to Alderman Savage, that I think it would be worthwhile to sit down and talk with them to find out about their implementation and are they happy with it? And what else might be going on to get some, real real time feedback in terms of someone that's actually done it. And they are a smaller jurisdiction too.
I do know that Montgomery County has put in bills probably for the last 10, 20 years to implement ranked choice voting. And I don't believe it even gets out of committee to the floor.
Mhm.
So at the state level, for the county, there has been county legislation submitted and heard, but not made it out of committee.
Mhm.
So that's at the state level, and then of course, regionally and nationwide, we know it's very uncommon, and even places who have done it are rescinding it. So there's um there's places that are putting it up for vote, there's places that are trying it, and there's places that have tried it and aren't keeping it.
Mhm. Okay. Any other questions then for David, or we'll let him get back to whatever he was doing before we interrupted him? No,
Thank
we're
you,
good.
David, for joining.
All right, thank you. No problem.
All right, thank you, David. We'll be seeing you soon. We'll be seeing you next Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Talk later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, well, that was helpful.
Mhm.
All right. So do we want to pick up where we were?
I would like to, yes.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so I would think I did the charter change. I'm on page 2. Several areas refer to procedures as outlined. There's quite a few areas where it took out, I should say quite a few. There are a few areas where it took out the term Board of Supervisors of Elections and inserted Anne Arundel County Board of Elections. And I gave a citation there. It doesn't really allow, by doing so, it doesn't allow for other vendors or other people to be doing it. And as we've just heard, there's a good chance that Anne Arundel County would not administer our elections. So I think the terminology that's frequently used in the current code is when they refer to the Board of Supervisors of Elections, it's referred to as the board, and then they'll tack on or designee. And Ashley, you might be able to comment on that if that's a better way of doing it. And there's several areas, like I think the other one was, it said the Board of Supervisors of Elections will conduct voter education, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think it would be, again, a vendor or some sort of designee.
Yeah, I think or designee is the most flexible approach. Obviously, if you put something specifically in there without any sort of ability to flex, then that's what you're locked in. And if that entity can't do it, then the whole thing just becomes problematic. So I would definitely not specifically call out the Anne Arundel County Board of Election. I think you could probably still similar language from other parts of Title IV where you were allowed to designate running of the election. We already sort of have that power in there. So you could maybe tweak that spot because we
Right.
already do have that section, and that's really the section that should be controlling.
Right. And I would just, again, just for consistency's sake. So that was what I did on there.
That was a comment. This whole thing was a comment of mine as well. So I'm glad we're in agreement here.
Okay. Definitions, there were some things that were questions about definitions. There was just one thing in terms of how this one wording would be. They talked about when the canvas is, what was it? When the canvas is completed, I can't remember. I wrote the way it should be. Canvas is not certified until the canvas is completed. They had us certifying before the canvas was finished, so it was just kind of, again, a procedural sort of thing. There's some other things as far as why they were included. They used the term Board of Supervisors of Elections would oversee various aspects of elections when really we have the ability to do all aspects of the election. They used the word qualified. I suggested using more certified. Candidates are certified, not necessarily qualified. Their definition of undervote is inconsistent with what we currently use. There were some procedures also that were included in the definition section, which I think made it a little lengthy and didn't necessarily need to be there. Again, that was just kind of an editorial comment. There was also a section in there, unclear why or how RCV would supersede other title money, title for provisions. So again, it doesn't impact things like financial disclosure statements, which they didn't bring up, but they did bring up some other areas, but didn't do it thoroughly. Things like how, for instance, it wasn't really clear how candidates would be certified. So this wasn't set up to be you have 5 candidates regardless of their affiliations, and then those 5 go through ranked choice. It would be the Democrats would have a ranked choice of their people, and then the Republicans would have a ranked choice of their people, and then any independents would come in at the general election. And so I wasn't sure that that would be very clear to the people, it wasn't very clear. It wasn't very clear, and I wasn't sure that people would understand that the way it was written, as opposed to all candidates just go in one primary, and then you do your ranked choice voting, and then the top 2 go to the general.
I think it was written the way it was intended. I don't want to speak for the authors of the legislation, but I think that it was written the way it was intended to be written. In terms of having party primaries and a Republican and a Democratic and any other party that would qualify to have a primary.
Right. I guess it wasn't clear to me, and it could just be a me issue. It just didn't feel like it was completely clear, in terms of how it would be, and maybe a graphic would have helped with that. So let's see. State and election, Comar and state and federal election laws were referenced a couple of times, but they don't apply to the city. Here's the section where I talked about how it states that BOEs would do the actual voter education. And again, that goes back to make it a designee situation. They talk about in section 4.22010 about that BOEs would be responsible for the website and be able to make changes directly. And we don't really have that ability. Turning on here. It just goes into that whole thing about with Anne Arundel County, what would require outside equipment. It wasn't clear, again, to me in terms of how mail-in balloting was going to be handled. And again, that could be just a vendor thing, but it wasn't really clear. It sounded like everything would be handled at the city offices, but that's not necessarily what would happen, especially if we were with, say, the county. But again, we probably wouldn't be. It was just kind of an area that wasn't really clear to me. There's also a section in there about write-in candidates being eliminated in the first round, but it didn't put forth what would happen if they weren't eliminated. It was kind of written with the assumption that write-in candidates would not have a majority, would not have enough to be, and that we've had write-in candidates that have won.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. This was also a comment of mine and a concern of mine, that there definitely have been write-in candidates and write-in candidates that have won, and I think this was written in a way that would allow for results of the ranked results to be tabulated before the results are certified after. So essentially in our current system, right, we're doing it a week later. This was written in a way to try to allow for a tabulation to happen, say on Thursday after election day. My I think the write-in situation makes that a challenge, and perhaps the ranked tabulation. It might be my recommendation that the ranked tabulation not occur until the certification that all the ballots are in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just again, it's probably a procedure, and it just wasn't really clear.
Yeah.
But it came across as if write-in candidates would just automatically be eliminated. And
Yeah,
that,
it does read that way in a sense that's I don't think tailored to the practicality of Annapolis elections, where write-in candidates have certainly been successful, and also there's a decent chance that a write-in candidate, even if they don't win in a ranked choice situation, is not the bottom candidate. And so, yeah.
right, and there are certified write-in candidates, and then there's just candidates that are written in, by whoever. So I mean, we'll get a listing of all the ones that are listed, but yeah. So anyway, so we
Yep.
both saw that. Moving on to section 4.22040, I had, as I kind of put in bold, some security concerns. About the way that it's stated. It says that the voting data would be provided in a machine readable format that can be easily retrieved, downloaded, indexed, and sorted. And that just concerned me because the way I interpreted that is that would allow the manipulation of data. And I don't think we would ever want to necessarily put out raw data to the public. I don't know, Liam, if you have any insight into what was meant by that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is not necessarily data that's, you can look at it and understand it, but it's not official results. It's a way for people to see who, like, if somebody ranks one of the top choice candidates that's in the final two first, then you never this would provide the backup data of where what how that person voted through their rankings rather than just their first choice. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure I quite understood. I mean, I was just looking at this and was concerned that what it was providing for was for raw data, the potential for raw data to be accessible by the public. And maybe that wasn't the intent.
I guess I'll put it this way. Currently, raw data is accessible by the public. We publish all of the results. That's the raw data that's accessible to the public. So I think it's kind of the same thing. We're publishing the results of the data. Yep, I think Ashley has her hand up.
Okay, Ashley, I'm sorry.
I think it would be better if you clarified who could sort and index it, because I think that's more where not so much releasing the data, but who's able to sort and who's sorting and indexing it. And keep in mind, because like Public Information Act laws are gonna go into this. If it's in a data spreadsheet, then different Maryland state laws relating to things kick in versus if it's just like non-manipulatable, like so an Excel versus like a PDF. You get different laws that kick in when it becomes an Excel that gives a little bit more free range for what you have to release unless you put security parameters on it. So I don't have any problem with the data per se being accessible, but I think we need to figure out what exact format it's going in and who, like, is it you guys? Is it our designee? Who's creating that format and sorting and indexing it, I guess. from my perspective.
That's really good insight. Thank you for jumping in.
Okay. All right. And then it also, in that section, talks about public release of vote count. So per city code, they can't be opened and canvassed until after the close of polls. And I think that popped up in a couple of places in the current legislation where it was acted as if we would be canvassing right after the election. That's right. So I just kind of went through that. The other thing, again, this is just nomenclature. They talk about political committees, and it wasn't clear. Does that mean political central committees or different committees? And which potential political committees? I know Alderman Savage brought up, other parties such as the Green Party and those, but if you have another party, I believe they have to have they have to have at least 10% of the registered voters registered with that party in order to hold their own primary. Some other sections here that I just mentioned. Hand counting. I wasn't really clear on how do you hand count. There was a whole big section on hand counting. And that just wasn't clear to me. How does someone hand count a ranked choice voting sheet? But it gets into that detail, so I wasn't clear about that.
think-
That also, I'm sorry, Liam.
Yeah, hypothetic. Well, the reason, well, I see your second point. I think the reason to do it is in a scenario where you're running the election outside of the county perhaps, and it's a cheaper method to do it in a city that doesn't have that many people potentially. How would you do it? I mean, I think you sort the ballots by their first ranking, and then you can count the total number of first rankings for everything, and then when you eliminate the bottom candidate, then you take those ballots and you're looking at the second ranking of those ballots. It's a lot of piles all around a room, but yeah, it's feasible.
I
Kind of skipped
really,
over this section and didn't dive too deeply into it, so.
well, again, these are security and training issues that I would have, and to me, hand counts are the type of thing you do if you're going to have an audit or a recount, and so that whole section made me a bit nervous. Just in terms of the mechanics of it, but also the security that would go along with it. And that along with, I don't know, I just think it holds some challenges. Again, we go into, there's some sporadic different places where canvas and procedures are mentioned, but we have them already in one section, so I'm not sure we need to pull them out. Again, then I'm looking at section 4.08030, where it talks about delegating authority only to, we've already covered that. Records. So they talk about the records in terms of voter registration, and I just wanted to differentiate that there's two separate lists. So the county maintains a list of voters for the city of Annapolis, which is different than the list for the county. And when I was reading that, it seemed to be that that differentiation wasn't clear. Next thing, going into nominations and candidacy, I wasn't clear why we needed to have some of these changes. And if these changes were implemented, it didn't seem to be complete. Voting and voting machines, I just felt really needed to have some closer review and with some inconsistencies with standard election and canvass procedures. I think I've outlined those. Another area for potential security breaches, the way they outlined it, I was concerned about the custody of ballots. You know, we talked about opening up boxes, looking in boxes, and those are things right now that for the most part the county is doing in a very secure location with a lot of checks and balances. And so the way it was written just made me a little concerned that it was might need a little bit more thought. Oh, content, let's see what else.
I don't know if it's, oh no, it's not further down. But I had a similar comment with the timing of I think there was a reference in there to like providing election night results by midnight, and
Yeah,
I certainly thought that that was not a wise,
yeah, it was by
to put
11:59.
a specific
Right.
time if there's a delay or for some reason.
Yeah, and I think that's just an example again of just the actual operations of doing a canvas and doing an election. That some of, I don't know who necessarily put input into writing this legislation, but I think with our experience, we would have a different take on on some, well, we do have a different take on some of it. So, but that kind of gets to the end for me. Any other questions, thoughts, or?
There was only one other comment I had, which was a clarification related to tie breaking
Oh, okay.
and maintaining the same once a tie is broken once, you're maintaining the same result in any recount or audit, I should say, unless there's a change in the result. And I think that was maybe implied but not clear enough in the
Mhm.
legislation.
Okay. So there we have it. So again, my focus on reviewing this was really to look at it from a legislation standpoint, and at least for me personally, not to get too much into was I for or against ranked choice voting. And maybe that's just a cop out, I don't know.
No, I think that's the right approach. I mean, that's how I'm trying to approach it as we're, if we were to needed to comment on it today, I think that's appropriate.
You know, I'm wondering is what you all think about the idea of just coming out with just a statement saying that we've reviewed something along the lines of we've reviewed the legislation um, and agree with the tabling of it at this point and look forward to assisting in the future, or just something like that, or say nothing. Oh, Debbie, you're muted.
I would, I'd rather wait until something comes to us. I'd rather wait until we get a piece of legislation to um, look at, or to be asked for our opinion or our thoughts. I'd rather it come from the city council instead of from us.
Okay.
Debbie, there is legislation.
But it's being pulled. We've been told that it's being pulled, and it never went to rules.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with saying nothing. I'm just saying, I was just saying that.
Yeah, and we did. I mean, we just spent time, Eileen looked at it, you looked at it, I looked at it. I mean, we've already spent time on something that's being pulled.
Okay. I just didn't know if we wanted to say anything, but as Regina said, you know, there's not much time for them um, to review anything. And I think at this point, Alderman Huntley and Savage are moving forward with good faith, realizing that um, that perhaps more streamlined or more review is needed for future legislation, and we can assist as requested. So if I'm hearing you all correctly, you
For
would
either
prefer
of
that we
them
not
back
send
to
it.
this YouTube video if they want to hear we can refer anyone to this video if they want to hear the discussion.
Do you have the link to the 30-minute one? Oh, this discussion. Oh, I thought you were
Yeah,
talking
this
about
discussion,
these.
yeah.
Okay.
That we could, yeah, we can talk about it separately, I guess.
Okay. All right. Any other comments about ranked choice voting? There was Regina sent me a comment that was submitted that I will read into the record. Once I look it up. Concerning tonight. So there was an online comment sent. I don't see the time it was sent, but it was sent by Suzanne Duffy of 17 King Court, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401 for tonight's meeting. And she says, the push for RCV at the last minute in this administration is unprecedented and has no right in a small town like Annapolis, which often has one, or if we are lucky, two candidates. It makes no sense, and I strongly oppose a practice of voting that has been banned in 17 states. It disenfranchises voters and has a documented record of doing so. Thank you, Annapolis. And that's the only one that I can see that we've received. Okay, all right.
On to campaign fund reports.
Wouldn't want to miss it. All right, so, all right, lots of good feedback on RCV. Okay, I sent out what I think is the updated list, and we can go through that just to make sure as we review this. So I have for first reports, we still are waiting on Alderman Arnett. I've sent a number of emails and made some phone calls. Alderman Gay has submitted some reports, but they haven't been separated. He's also received some emails and phone messages. And for amended first report, I did check with Gavin Buckley's treasurer because it hadn't been submitted and it was just that the summary sheet needed to be updated. The outstanding obligations are still on that line. I did talk to Stuart Cohen and I did check what went out, and it does seem that they did not get informed. There was confusion, and this was the week where we had everything going on with the recount. And so one analysis went out and had it on there, but then the other one didn't, and so they were not aware of it. So he said he will get something in on Monday. That was the only thing that we're asking them, was to take the outstanding obligations off of the summary sheet. So if you all, I think that warrants not incurring late fees.
So this is for Arnett's amended first report.
No, this is for Gavin Buckley.
Oh, we went to Buckley?
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
for his
Buckley.
second amended first
And it was the
report.
second request for his first amended
Right.
report. And so it appears that they were never, it was never clearly communicated to them that it was necessary.
So you said it was on one sheet and wasn't on or it was on one analysis, but not on another one. They were conflicted.
He made the correction and put the loans on Schedule 2, where they had previously been in outstanding obligations, but on the summary sheet, he did not take it off of, I think it's line 7, which is the outstanding obligation. So it showed up both on the loans and on the outstanding obligations. So they need to submit a summary sheet with it off of line 7. The
Right.
rest of the report was fine.
Right. I mean, I guess I would say they should just submit a waiver request. Right? And say on it that explain the fact that it wasn't, I don't know. It seems to me like we should follow the process that we set out rather than preemptively make a decision.
Okay, Debbie, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it says late fee is due. Um, I understand if it was a city mistake. Um, if I don't know how we prove that they didn't get that. If you can see that it was
I
unclear, then
can
I'm
show it, and it
fine.
was probably my mistake, so.
Yeah, I'm fine with pretty much always for waiving fees, but yeah, Liam's right. We should do
Okay.
our waiver
All
form.
right, I'll ask to do that, okay. And then in terms, Liam, do you want to go through Tom Creek's altogether? Because he's got an second amended report due also. Do you want to do all of his reports at one time?
Yeah, I think we can do that. I had a question about whether before we get to that, I had a question about, I thought on September 16th, we did accept this Savage's amended report, but then it wasn't in the minutes, but I felt like we did, and that was the election day and the minutes. I know there was a lot of changes from the first what was initially shown in the minutes. So I wanted to ask Debbie and Eileen if you have any recollection of that or knowledge of that.
Of his third report?
The first one,
Oh, first one.
And you're talking about Savage?
yeah. I was sure that we did it, and then when I was going through all of our minutes and pulling them out and um to make sure and have the days when they were approved, and it wasn't in there. So then I was like, I thought we did accept them.
Well, I have the analysis that we reviewed August 21st for those first reports.
Yeah, I'm looking.
And it said Schedule 3 disbursement, several addresses, methods of payment, and codes missing. Campaign name and transaction periods were missing in headers. So he was asked to submit an amended report with corrected Schedule 3 and headers and spreadsheets.
Yes, I have that. I have that as well. And then I thought that on the 16th, when it was election day, we reviewed the amended report. And I don't think it was in the minutes, and that's why I was. It's the
So now I'm looking at the amended reports
Yeah, me too.
for that period. And I have amended report is submitted, Schedule 3 is missing addresses.
on from September 16th.
Yes,
So we were requesting it to be resubmitted again.
yes.
Yeah, I show addresses. Need amendment on addresses on number 1. Addresses on Schedule 1.
And then I don't know if we ever received an amended first report from Savage then.
All right, and let me make sure that he got that message because it may have been with that same batch as Kevin Buckley's group.
Addresses on number 1.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look at that.
And then the only other one from the first report, besides Creek, which I think we're about to talk about, is Schendelmeyer, which I don't think we've accepted yet.
I thought we had.
I thought we had accepted the second one and the third one, but the first one, I thought we were still waiting on now one of the two.
Yes, he said that he was going to see if he could get additional information on that one,
Okay.
which we haven't gotten yet.
Okay.
But I think we've approved the follow-up ones.
Okay.
I'm looking for my minutes. So I can follow up and ask if he's gotten anything else.
Okay. Shall we do the Creek reports?
I'm sorry?
Shall we do the
Sure.
Tom Creek's reports? I'm gonna share my screen if that's okay.
Mhm. So we're really looking at 1, 2, and 3 overall, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone see that?
Yes.
Oops, those are my notes. For everybody. All right. Okay. Yes, this was the updated first one. I think the issue that we had with this one was that the loans were being shown both as a loan and an outstanding balance. And I believe that was amended here. I didn't have any additional concerns. There was an address missing on one of the in-kind donations, and that's listed now. Does anyone else have concerns?
Well, you've been working with him, so if you don't have concerns.
I was gonna say, Liam, if you're good with it.
I know I am good with this one. I think we're
Okay, yay.
And which one is this again? This is,
report one,
okay.
Second amended, right? Yeah,
third amended, I believe.
okay. Well, yes, I lost count.
Now let's go to this one, which is our second, the second report.
Okay.
This was an updated summary sheet. This one properly moved the loan to the outstanding obligations.
Good.
Okay.
And the in-kind contributions didn't change. So I think this is just a summary sheet.
Okay,
Didn't have any concerns here.
good.
Okay.
All right.
And the third one, see if I can get it without, there we go. The third one, I also think is appropriate. I can walk through it. We have the math is correct. Specifically, we've got the cash balance correct. We have contributions of $210. Those didn't change. Now it's there's a new loan of 24. You can see the 4 is written over it. I can zoom in a little
All
bit.
right, yeah.
24,1931, adding to the total cash available in this period, 31,2931. This loan is a matching amount to payments made out expenditures that were paid by the candidate and are yet to be reimbursed to the candidate. So
Yeah,
you
I
can
remember
see
that. Yeah.
outstanding obligation now as unpaid bills.
Okay.
Outstanding obligation. So what I talked through with Tom about this is that in the next report, these unpaid bills will move to the expenditures as they're paid back to himself. and the loan, of course, will move down to the outstanding obligations.
Right. One of the things I want to send out to the candidates is a reminder that bills are supposed to be invoiced and paid by the treasurer.
Yes.
You know, they're supposed to go through the treasurer. So rather than, you go to the sign, pick up your signs, and there's a $200 bill, get that as an invoice and have your treasurer write the check. I mean,
Yep.
Debbie's shaking her head because she's done it.
Yep.
It seems with a lot of the newer candidates, they're not doing that, and that's really not the way code is written. And it does create some difficulties. And also to verify that loans can be repaid, contributions are not repaid. Because we've had that in the past where people have said, well, I, made a contribution to cover my bills, but I didn't spend it all. Can I have the money back? And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So a gentle reminder to everybody because it's with the number of the candidates. So encourage them to go through their treasurers.
Absolutely. I reiterated that in this conversation, but I also think you're right. That's it. That would be valuable for everyone to hear as
Right.
well. So
Okay.
I didn't have any concerns with this one. Do either of you have concerns with this?
Mm-mm. I'm good.
So how about we make a motion that we accept the third amended report for number one, the second report amended, and the third report amended.
So moved.
All amended, right, Liam?
Yes, all amended, and so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Awesome.
Good job, Liam.
We did it. Oh, more to go, more to go, but
I know. I can't believe how people find a way to mess up. It's very entertaining, I guess, and surprising.
some
Well,
things
we're
are
getting
not
there.
always the most straightforward if it's your first time. So
I know. No, we're trying. We still have a ways to go, but I know when I started it was bad and it's getting better, believe it or not, but there's still new ways, people.
All right, well, all right, let's go on to the next one.
which one do you want to do next?
So I think we've covered all the ones in the amended first report. Let's go to the second report, which was due September 9th. Again, Alderman Gay has not submitted separate reports. We've done Creek, Papalianti. We still have that same issue that has shown up on his second
Mhm.
and his amended second and his third report in terms of the business making a contribution that exceeded the limits. And on the last report, it was moved to loans and made out to be a personal expense. And Debbie, did you get a chance to talk with him?
Yes, I spoke with Mike Brown, his treasurer, and they are going to refund the $2,500 um to um to the business.
Okay.
And even because it was a business address. So that 2,500 is being refunded to the business. So that's gone. Then a new loan of 2,500 is being submitted on the candidate's personal check.
Okay.
Awesome.
And that's going to be, I think we decided that would be done as an amendment on number 3, on report 3. Remember, we were talking about, is it on 1? Is it on 2? Is it on 3? Should it be on 4? Because it's kind of, traveled along. So instead of amending number 2, they're going to amend number three, with the refund of the $2,500 check.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Are you all comfortable with doing it that way?
I am.
Sense, and then when we have the third one that is compliant, then we can approve the first and second one as well, because we've seen that the third one works.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Okay, so we can approve it, but make a stipulation on that. Okay. All right. And next one, so that's all for that. Now we're moving on to amended second reports that were due October 10th. So Mr. Creek is done. We have not gotten, Janice Alsop Johnson had combined hers, and I know she submitted some new reports that we got either yesterday or today, which I haven't had a chance to review.
I did. Did you, Liam?
Yes, I have reviewed them a little bit before this. I'll also say I reached out to Mrs. Also Johnson, um, and I think there's still some errors on here and some issues. I think
Correct.
we haven't resolved the church donation box yet either. And yet I think some of these line items are in the wrong line.
Correct.
Just don't quite make sense. So I
Right.
I'm in conversations with her about this. I'm hopeful to meet with her tomorrow or potentially next week to sit down and have a talk through, because I think this is there's enough items here that we need to walk through things together and sit down and work them out.
All right.
Right. So Liam, thank you for doing that, because I found 4 or 5 items. And one is she didn't mark the filing type. So that's just an easy one on page 1, right? The filing type.
Yep.
And also, yeah, that one, yeah, the $150 loan um, is it's on schedule 1.
Yep.
It should be on 2. And then there's a wrong code. She put the code on schedule 1 for that loan. She put the code of CO, and CO is actually a code for an expenditure, not a code for a contribution on schedule 1. So it's in the wrong place anyway, but it's the wrong code. And yeah, and the numbers, yeah, you've got it. Because the math is I guess, is this the one with the math wrong?
I think this one well, yeah, I think this one it
I
adds.
guess, but where's the 887? I don't see where the 887 is listed at all. Because that should be on schedule 1. And
Yeah.
the only thing on schedule 1 is the loan.
Yeah, and these are hard to these are I mean we have to sort out the first reporting period first, because the cash balance is going to be determined based
Okay,
on
so
that.
this was the amended. Okay.
Yeah, this was the amended
Right,
second.
gotcha. But
Um,
yeah, so
so
okay.
the one question, and maybe we can, if I'm going to sit down, I'd like to kind of talk to you about this before I do this, is with the church, with the church cash donation box. I think we've talked about the money would need to be returned unless we can identify how much and from addresses for per person. I mean, from a legal perspective, Ashley, uh, can churches donate? Like, hypothetically, could a church donate, or is that going to run into legal effect? Is that gonna be a challenge as a pass through, or I thought that churches can now, I thought that was federal legislation, but I don't know. I want to ask that question.
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question, but I'm not.
I think what we cited in code was that you can't have anonymous donations.
Right.
Like it was a church state thing or a church thing. It was just what we cited in code was you can't have anonymous donations.
But how
Right.
can you return cash?
I
That
think the
was
code says it goes to the city. Regina, do you have any recollection? I'd have to go look for it, but I think that's what,
Eileen, I think you're correct.
I don't have it down here somewhere, but that's my recollection. Anonymous donations, it's up to the city.
Okay.
But we can look it up, but
I guess like hypothetically, my question was if the church is allowed to donate and the church address was listed as the donation, is there an issue with us knowing now that that it was a cash donation box that passed through the church? That's, I think, and actually, if you don't have an answer right now, we can connect on it.
So one, then anonymous does have to get paid to the city. So I did check that. That's section 4.44040. And I think as for the churches, it's not so much our law. I think it's a federal law related to the IRS and how they are exempt from taxation, that they would jeopardize their status as tax exempt at the federal level if they donate to political campaigns. But that's not my expertise. I think that's where the issue comes in.
I thought that law might have been changed.
It might have been. I'm not as up to date, but I think that's the level where it's at, and I'd have to do way more research. But it wouldn't be something prohibited by us. If they do it, they could, but they could run into implications at a federal level related to their status and their standing.
Okay, so the options to the candidate in this case, when I talk to her, are A, the church has to decide that they're comfortable doing that, and that's they should seek counsel to decide whether it's
Yes.
appropriate for them to do that. B,
however, can I just say something? However, the fact is that we know that it didn't go through the church. Correct? I mean, I would have some difficulties accepting that, knowing that these were anonymous donations.
because plus it could be, I know it's not over $1,000, but somebody could contribute more than is allowed for a contribution to a candidate. You know, I could go to her function at the church and put in, $1,100.
I guess that's true, but like, okay, say it was right. Well, I don't remember how much it was, so you're right.
It's
If
like
it's over,
300.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't large amounts, but I think it's already been documented that these were anonymous donations.
but so I mean, if it's let's take the church out of it. Say it's a business, like anybody can put money into a business anonymously, and when it's donated to the candidate, it just shows up. It just shows up as the business donating. So, you know,
Now, then you start getting into, I don't know, are we getting into things like the functioning as a political action committee? I mean, I sympathize with the situation. I mean, it's
so okay,
people,
so that's one potential path. It sounds like there's a gray area that we don't necessarily know all the answers to. The other path is if it's possible to identify any who donated for any or part of the donations, those can be listed as contributions, and then anything that cannot be identified by somebody then would have to be given to the city.
I mean, that works for me.
And to confirm, I mean, do you guys, how do you feel about the candidate writing, identifying it, or do you need to see like a written email from somebody that's the based on what we know, would you need to see something from the contributor to feel comfortable that they agreed that that was their contribution?
So you think the candidate might know who put in what?
Yeah, or they could just ask, if you donated, if you put money in and you know how much it was, can you confirm that you donated that amount in my cash box? Basically.
Yeah, I mean, they would just need to fill out a Schedule 1,
Right.
with the names and addresses and amount. But I don't know how we can really, track it.
I'm sorry, I missed some of that because I just got a text.
Yeah, I just don't know how, I mean, if she wants to try to reach out to whoever was at that event and ask them if anybody put money in, to please uh, let her know, and then she would do a Schedule 1 with their names and addresses. You know, I don't know how we could really um, track that to, you know,
I,
but
I'm comfortable if she says that somebody said that they donated, and as long as she
I'm okay with
puts
it
in
too.
a name and address and it's listed as cash, then it's trackable.
Right. And that person could find it and say, I didn't do it, and then we'd run into a problem. But that's why it would
I
be
mean, that could happen in a number of scenarios if we
right.
start.
That's the recourse, is what I'm saying. That's
Right,
confirming that it's accurate.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Thank
I
you.
mean, if she
Thank you
wants
for
to
the
in good
discussion.
faith try to track those people down, then she can.
Yep. Awesome. No, I appreciate this discussion, and it will be helpful when I have a conversation with the candidate.
Okay. All right, any other things concerning Miss Alsop Johnson?
We see it online.
All right. So that's on your to-do list. I have, again, Dewan Gay, which I've offered to meet with him and his treasurer, but just haven't heard back. We've covered Mr. Papaglianti.
Right. So with Dewan, I mean, his fines are getting huge.
Well, yep. I mean, they're racking up. He has filed, I mean, reports, but I'll follow up with him. Genevieve Torrey owes us an amended report that was filed, but it's not compliant. So that will get sent out. Keanu Smith Brown, I did notify him. And actually during the meeting, he has called me, so I'll follow up with him. He's saying he wasn't aware that he needed to submit anything.
Mm.
I did check emails on that one, but I'll follow up on that. We have not, to my knowledge, gotten a amended second report on Miss Makel.
We never got a report.
We didn't get anything for her on the second report.
I have that we did. We had a first report. We looked at it on September 12th.
Yeah, I know we got the first one.
No, a first.
Oh, a second one. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, this says no filed.
It's not been, it needs to be amended. We did get one.
Okay. Oh, I
And
put late.
it needed some
Oh.
changes to Schedule 3 and outstanding obligations.
Okay. No file. Okay.
I'll reach out to her. Okay, Sheila Finlayson is approved and Rock Taves is up to date in terms of the second report. I think I was going back at our last meeting, so his treasurer signed that and they paid the late fee.
Right, so when we get the late fees paid, it is nice to see the receipt. Then we know and we can mark it off.
I
We
think it is
we
attached.
yeah, we've had them that's nice. We don't have I mean we've only had like 3 paid and they were attached, so we're waiting on all these others.
Okay. All right, moving on to third reports, the ones that were due October 7th. We approved, I thought, Robert O'Shea.
Wait, sorry, before we move on, was Dewan, we're deferring. I see we have this is an initial third report.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
Dwan has an initial third report.
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, but Keanu had an error on his second report and hasn't given an amended second report.
But
Yes.
he's saying he didn't know, right?
He's saying he didn't know, so I'm gonna follow up with him.
No, I was confused because we had a report here from Dewan, but I'm seeing now it's an initial third report.
Oh, okay, all right. So we're all done on amended second reports?
Yes.
Okay. So moving on to number 3 report. I have that Robert O'Shea, I thought was approved. But he just sent an email. Through
I
the-
have resubmit on mine for him.
You do?
Yep.
What did you say, Liam?
I have that. Oh, it's weird.
This says, Eileen, on your number 3 chart, it said that loans go on number 2, not number 4.
Okay,
Once reported, they go on 4. So his initial loan went on as an obligation instead of as a initial loan. So it had to go from 4 to 2. And then the summary sheet would need to be adjusted to show that it's a loan before it's an obligation. That's what it shows that he needed to correct on his number 3 initial report.
Yep.
okay, he's saying that the loan was originally on the first report, page 7,
Oh,
and then not on the report, the second report. He said the loan was moved as normal accounting procedures to outstanding obligations.
okay,
He's saying it was done correctly,
okay.
which would mean
That he doesn't need to submit anything.
that he's approved. Okay. So it doesn't sound like he needs to do anything. He doesn't. I have him as approved, but it sounds like he was on the list to make a change.
Right, but maybe we didn't go back and check enough.
Okay. I'll follow up with him. Are you okay with that?
Yep,
I mean, I kind of think we're on here, right? If I can find those reports, then it makes sense that we just address
right.
it, right?
All right, that's fine.
Yeah, if you can look at
But
his first.
let's put this at the back and let's take care of the other ones and let's
Okay.
come back to it. That's everybody.
Okay.
Keep moving.
So Jared Littman was approved. Harry Huntley needed to amend his summary sheet and he's already submitted that.
Yep, I can pull that up.
Yeah, if you're
There's
okay
a-
with the math, I'm fine.
Yeah, this looked fine to me. Do we want to move these separately or together?
I think if we're approving it, we should make a motion.
Awesome. Okay. To accept.
Before we did them as a group, but
Well,
All
let's
right.
just, now we'll go through. Oops.
I move that we accept the third report from Alderman Huntley.
Second.
Or here.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, Tom Creek, we've already discussed. Carmen O'Neill was approved. Kenneth Vincent needs to amend a summary sheet. And I don't
Yeah,
believe, I don't believe we got that.
yeah, that's gonna be an easy one. It was just he did, instead of doing initial, he did amended, and we just needed to have him change the filing type. And so now when he does it, it's going to be amended.
Right,
So I think what we said was we were asking him to come in and change the document or correct
Right.
the document rather than amend the document.
right. Well, that's still out there. I mean, there's still the amended don't need to be in until, forget, Regina, what date you said,
7th.
the 7th. Okay. Mike Dye has already submitted his change.
That one. I opened it.
If we want to take a look at that.
Yeah.
So this is a little nitpicky, but for consistency, I think we're still missing the address on this expenditure for Ann and Dot. And I looked up the company and found the address
Mhm.
pretty quickly, so it's not like it's not findable.
Okay, so it's the missing address on what page?
Schedule 3.
Okay, all right. Send him an update. Okay, we've talked about Ms. Alsop Johnson. Shandemeyer was approved. Papalianti, we've talked about. Daisha Conti, she needs an amended report. George Gallagher needs an amended report. Rob Savage was approved. Kuhnha was approved. Frank Thorpe was approved. Pindell Charles was approved. Genevieve Torrey needs an amend a report. Katie McDonald needs to amend a report. And then Robert Gunsberger was approved. Benjamin Branson, his was submitted, but we hadn't reviewed it. Do you have his, Liam?
I do. It's right here.
It's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
Amended and final.
So do we want to have a motion to approve this?
Yeah, a motion to approve the third and final campaign fund report from Benjamin Bramson.
I'll second.
Oh, second, sorry. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so moved. Okay,
So back to Janice Alsop Johnson, which I think we just skipped over.
well, I was just thinking that we've already discussed her and Liam's.
Okay, yeah, I had there is more things on her number 3, but they could go back to number 2, and I know Liam's gonna work on that.
Well, if you want to make note of them, so he has them.
Well, it's like the summary sheet is wrong on her number 3.
Yeah.
It's really screwed up.
Nope, I saw that as well. The top line I think is supposed to be line 1, but it's on 2. And then for some reason the cash available isn't the same number as what should be, yeah.
Right, they took the 6670 and subtracted it from the 1037 to get the 970. So that 903 is not a number at all. She has 970 left.
Yeah.
It's just a mess.
Yep. work to do, but we'll
Right. And there's late fees. I figure she has like 280 in late fees so far. Um, there's a lot of money going to be coming into the city from all these late fees.
Okay, anything else to add for Liam's?
Uh, that's that's it. Yeah, and those contributions, yeah, the contributions of 1037, there's nothing listed on as for contributions on Schedule 1.
Yeah, I think that was the previous balance. It's in the wrong line, but that the previous balance is going to change based on what we determine with
Yeah, yeah.
the other stuff. So yeah,
Have at it, Liam.
we just do a little crash course and we'll figure it out.
Okay, Corinne Mako has not filed.
Do you guys want me to reach out to her and has anyone reached out to her?
I don't mind reaching out to her, or Debbie, if you want to. You've already got a couple on your plate, Liam.
Why don't you reach out to her, Eileen?
Yeah, I don't mind reaching out to her.
Because this is gonna hurt her pretty bad, the fees.
Okay, so I'll reach out to her and I'll review hers. Deborah Odom's been approved. Craig Cusimano's approved. I'm reaching out to Dewan Gay. Gavin Buckley's approved. Sheila Finlayson's been approved. Rock Taves submitted his final and is pending approval.
Oh, we do that one right now.
Sure.
Yeah. And Eileen, on Dewan Gay's number 3, it doesn't have report dates on his cover sheet or any of his sheets. There's no reporting period dates listed.
Okay.
I noticed that too, Debbie. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, and Rex. Okay.
I think I reviewed this and I didn't have any concerns. Did anyone else?
Nope, it's fine.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Liam?
Uh, Rocktaze, I reviewed it. I didn't have any concerns.
Okay,
I didn't have any concerns. Do you have concerns, Eileen?
looks good to me.
Good to me.
So I'll move to accept the third and final campaign fund report from Rocktaze.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. I think he'll be very happy. All right, Democratic Central Committee is approved. And the Republican Central Committee has an amended report they need to file.
Yep.
Oh. And who do we need to catch up on? I know that Kaylin sent us a number of things today.
I think we touched them all.
I think we did too.
Um, in your records, Eileen, sorry, I'm going back through my records. Do you have, or did we ask Debbie Odom to resubmit the second one? I know we approved the third one. Is she still outstanding on the second one?
The second report. At least on the one that I have here, I don't have it. This is the one that we would have reviewed on September 16th. But maybe that, are you thinking she didn't submit one?
Yeah, I have that we looked at it on the 12th and then asked for it to be amended and we never got an amended report. I think that's
So let me make sure that what was sent out to hers included that.
Okay, and then let me go digging for the O'Shea stuff here.
You find it?
Yeah, I just
Oh,
got the second report that we approved, and I'm opening it now, and I have the third one. I don't have the first one yet, but hopefully we don't have to go that far back. So let's
I
see if
think
we
he said it started on the first one.
yeah, that's what he said.
See what, but if you have the second one, that's helpful.
all right. So this one, okay.
Teresa might have the folder on it. Do you have the folder, Teresa, on O'Shea?
So what can you remind me what was our concern with the third one?
It was on the third one, the concern was that the loan was being put onto outstanding obligations and it didn't appear to have been listed earlier. And I believe if I'm reading his note correctly, he's saying it was listed in his first report on Schedule 2 and then moved to outstanding obligations.
Okay. So yeah, I am seeing that those three loans are on the second one
Okay.
listed on Schedule 4. So those do match tracking from the second to the third one. Um,
They're both on Schedule 4?
yeah, all three of them.
Okay, so the first one would have been then on Schedule 2.
Right, exactly. So I need to go back to I don't have I need to find I might not even have that digitally.
Do you have it, Regina?
I do not have any of the reports
I can look it up
in
online.
front of me. I'm sorry. I could check on the website if you like.
I've got it started. I'll look.
Sorry, I forgot they're all online too. They are digital. I just we didn't get first look at that digitally.
So on his first report, on Schedule 2, there was a loan for 500, a loan for 1,500, and a loan for 509 or 508. No, 509. And they were all loans to himself. And they
Okay.
were made, one was on the 21st of July, one was on the 28th of July, and one was on August 11th. So do
Yeah.
they jive with the third one?
They do jive. Yeah, I think
All right.
It's that.
So I guess we just go back far enough. Okay. So I'll let him know that it's okay. So should we get a motion to approve?
Yeah, a motion to approve the third campaign fund report from Bob O'Shea.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
aye.
All right, we're getting towards the end, peeps.
Yeah.
And I still have here that the Republican Central Committee needs to amend their report, so it's not due yet.
Right.
So I think we're pretty caught up.
I think so too.
So Regina, we've approved the ones, I mean, we've done motions for the ones that we've approved. Do we need to do any other motions? Considering some of the things we're gonna follow up with?
No, because I think you're gonna detail that in your analysis, correct?
Okay,
Yes, I think you're good.
okay. All right, anything else?
Nothing from me. Shall we move? I'll move to adjourn at 7:02.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Eileen, for doing the analysis and also the ranked choice voting
Oh,
spreadsheet thing.
you're welcome.
Oh.
It was an interesting study. So,
Thanks for holding down the fort, Regina.
You're very welcome. Don't forget on the 28th, you have your LNA.
right,
Tuesday morning.
10
Okay,
o'clock.
see you then.
Okay, good night.
Good
Okay,
night.
thanks.